Pakistan, our India's neighbor, has been in a tight spot for its economy for some time now. Amid very high inflation and extremely low forex reserves, the country has been denied further funds from the International Monetary Fund, that is IMF. This is an important development in international affairs and is hence a relevant topic for our discussion. A delegation from the IMF arrived in Pakistan to attempt a last-ditch negotiation to restart crucial financial aid that has been frozen for months. As Pakistan fights a worsening economic crisis, the country's Prime Minister claimed that the government would have to accept beyond imagination IMF bailout requirements for fear of reaction. Before the upcoming elections in October 2023, the Pakistan administration has refused to implement the tax increases and subsidy reductions that the IMF has required. But in the event of a no-go with any alternative funding scenario, maybe the government may also yield to implement the measures that the IMF has suggested in a phase-wise manner, if not on war footing basis. At this point of time, it is very relevant for us to know what exactly is the economic crisis in Pakistan. The Pakistani economy is in dire straits because of high inflation, high indebtedness, weak external position, food crisis, rising terrorism. These are all the main reasons for the economic crisis in Pakistan. Let's get slightly into brief details of each of these factors. That is, 1. High inflation. Pakistan has experienced a high inflation in 2022 of about 24.5%. The percentage was about 29% in rural areas. The rural inflation is quite very high and the overall inflation is about 24.5%. That's a big cause of concern for Pakistan as an economy. Then, number 2 factor contributing to the economic crisis is high indebtedness. Pakistan has long struggled with a number of issues. Its current condition is not new. Due to this, Pakistan is heavily indebted to friendly countries and the IMF. The third factor contributing to economic crisis is weak external position. Pakistan was finally taken off the Financial Action Task Force, that is FATF, grey list in 2022 after being on it for many years. This had an impact on Pakistan's standing globally and led to the imposition of several economic sanctions. The fourth factor contributing to the economic crisis of Pakistan is about the food crisis. The cost of perishable foods has increased by over 56%, making the common man's life miserable in Pakistan. The cost of wheat flour has been steadily rising to uncomfortable proportions. This is also a major cause of concern at this point of time to every ordinary Pakistani in terms of the required food grains for their survival. Then the fifth factor contributing to the economic crisis of Pakistan is relating to rising terrorism. In an effort to split Pakistan into two countries, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan (TTP) has increased its terrorist activities there since 2022. This is a major cause of concern for all Pakistanis and also for the Pakistani army and also for the Pakistani administration. There are some other reasons which also have their due role in the Pakistan's economic crisis. They are 2022 floods. The floods in Pakistan in 2022 cost the nation an unprecedented $3 billion in damages and destroyed essential infrastructure, uprooted 8 million people and reduced domestic output. And economic policies of Pakistan are inconsistent and pro-cyclical. Many of Pakistan's growth-enhancing initiatives came at the expense of growing vulnerabilities and enduring structural and institutional shortcomings. Further, the local problems also add a lot to the ongoing economic crisis. Pakistan's distribution challenges are more of a concern than its insufficient supply levels, which have led to shortages and price increases. Basically, a demand supply problem has arisen because of the inefficiencies in the distribution system and the supply chain distribution network in Pakistan at this point of time is not functional. That's the reason it's raising many local problems in terms of the supplies. Amid this, we all must know about the IMF bailout package. Though Pakistan has been modifying its policies according to the conditions laid down by IMF in an effort to get IMF loan to the tune of almost 6.5 billion, which is pending post the due diligence that the IMF team has recently concluded with the Pakistani officials. But the good news for Pakistan is that China and Iran have come forward to help the crisis hit Pakistan to come out of the financial collapse at this point of time. And as an interim measure, China has agreed to lend $700 million loan to shore up the Pakistan's foreign exchange reserves. But Pakistan's needs are not just a small quantum of a new tranche of loan of $700 million. Its requirements at this point of time, even from the short term perspective, are to the tune of $6.5 billion, which is what Pakistan is expecting from IMF. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.